सर वो जो की मिला था ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल वाला, इट्स नॉट वर्किंग, स्ट्रीम नहीं हो रहा है। हाँ लाइव दिखा रहा है बट इट्स नॉट, मतलब चल नहीं रहा है। नहीं, इन एसेंस लाइक यू कैन सी द क्लास। ओके 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 ओके, ठीक है। सो आई थिंक इट इज नॉट वर्किंग इन माय दिस लैपटॉप। या ठीक है, थैंक यू। So, hello, good afternoon to all of you. Jai Hind, आप सभी का स्वागत है. This is Chandramouli in front of you, and we are meeting in a very special session today, and this is about geography optional. I hope you can hear me out. I hope it's audible to all of you. So, I welcome you to this session, and it's the largest platform where we are meeting an academy and every such educator that you might have seen somewhere. आज वो सब हैं यहाँ इस चैनल पे. एंड आई मस्ट टेल यू अबाउट फ्यू ऑफर्स कि आप देख सकते हैं, अगर आपको कोई भी एक आइकॉनिक कॉम्बो या कुछ भी ऐसा लेना है आप ले सकते हैं. अभी बहुत अच्छा ऑफर चल रहा है. एंड इन दैट आई मस्ट टेल यू, व्हेन यू टेक अ कॉम्बो पैक यू गेट जीएस प्लस ऑप्शनल बोथ. तो आपको ये दोनों ही मिल जाता है. एंड फॉर द कोड ऑफ सीएमसी आप जैसे ही लगाएंगे आपको 12 मंथ्स का यू विल हैव इन 62094. I hope you can hear me out. Okay, and test series, we have already launched this light subscription. Till yesterday we had this offer of 50% off, but now if you take it you will have at CMC code, you will have 10% off. You can take this. And anyone having any maybe sort of gut feeling to take part, to take any course enrollment, आप देख सकते हैं 433 पर मंथ का आपको प्लस मिलता है. और आप जैसे ही CMC लगाएंगे it will be 3899, and for 6208 for the iconic, and you apply the code of CMC and you get in 5587. And for any such course, you can also have the loaning facility, that is 0% interest and approval in just 2 hours, and minimal paperwork is required for this. And if you want me as your mentor, you can take the iconic program, and in the iconic program I'll be there with you as your GPS. So CMC is my code. You can just apply the code of CMC and fill that. हमारा कल से कुछ बैचेस भी लॉन्च हो गया है. यूपीएससी सीएसई 2022 प्रीलिम्स बूस्टर एंड लक्ष्य, इट हैज ऑलरेडी बीन लॉन्च्ड. And this is my number. Any such query if you have regarding optional or GS, you can directly reach me out. This is my number, and any queries regarding any subscription, you can let me know. This is the session about the optional instincts, and that is sticking to geography. And I would like to start this session with a very positive thing, and that I often say that yat bhavato tat bhavati. Whatever your belief is, whatever you think you are, you will become that. You just believe that you are some person who is going to crack this examination, and I must tell you that be assured that you are going to crack this well. So this is about the geography optional and the instincts that you can follow. Any doubt, any query regarding anything, you can have this Telegram channel with you. You can join this and you can share all your problems with me. Physical geography, I'm already running on this plus course, and now we are venturing into this optional thing. Okay, I would like to start this session, and I must let you know that this geography as an optional, I'll discuss some other day also that how this can help you. But for the time being, I just want you to understand that in the optional subjects, if we can have an instinct, if we can have a gut feeling, we can prepare for what questions are going to come. And not range of options, I would say there are certain other optional subjects also that give you some instinct, some gut feeling. But geography, for one, if I specifically speak about, this is such a subject, this is going to give you a gut feeling of what is about to come. And I'll prove you today itself. For example, let's start with the categorization of what the topics could be. in your syllabus of paper 1, you have some very big subjects, very big topics, and these are your geomorphology. Now, this geomorphology talks about every such morphed landform that we see with our eyes. Every such landscape, every such landform that has come by, and it is evolving every day. Human life is so small as compared to this geological life or time period, and we are seeing everything. But see, geomorphology has got its own subject, has got its own base, and it is considered as a very vast topic, a very vast theme. But this is not to say that you will just try to have maybe just only the reading of it, and you cannot mug up everything. So a strategy that we can define is having some instincts, having some gut feeling that what the questions can be. Please understand now. Over the last few years, the geography optional paper, they have been moving towards the application part. And when I say application part, if we are into studying the theories only, if we are into studying only what it is saying about some landform, I think we are erring on some part. It becomes very relevant and important for us that we will have to keep care of or take care of a lot of events that keep on happening around us. For example, I'll just give you maybe a hint here. Suppose I was reading a news about lot of sinkholes coming up. So I can run my mind and ask that where in geomorphology I have these sinkholes. Where in geomorphology I can find these sinkholes, and if sinkholes I can find, what is the topography related to it? What kind of topography can come up? So this is a gut feeling that you have to do. You have to see something around you. Maybe the current affairs are being followed, and maybe not of just 1 year. I say just keep a tap of the geography current affairs for around 2-3 years and just look for what is so much relevant that is going about. I just gave you a hint of sinkhole. Now imagine if you have a hint of, maybe if I say that some sort of mountain building or the Himalayas are still rising, if you get suppose this topic, the mountain building is still active suppose, or maybe imagine the Tonga volcanic eruption. Just imagine the Tonga volcanic eruption. Now if this is happening, please understand, if this is happening, you will have to keep care of, if Tonga volcanic eruption has already happened, can a question on volcanism be there in your paper or not? Can a question upon what about the plate tectonics and how relevant it is to talk about such current days happenings, can this question be there or not? You have to analyze over this. It's gut feeling. So you will have to keep care of your current affairs. You will have to keep care of a framework that is there in front of you, and you just tick it there that, okay, this was in news and this relates to my geomorphology. I'll give you another example. In geomorphology, we also talk about channel morphology, and it's a very important one, but we maybe in our zeal of doing a lot of other things, we just try to ignore this. I must tell you now, channel morphology and the erosion and the water flow and the river flow and the landforms that have come from channel morphology, it is a very important topic for today's civilization. Any such impact on today, just try to have your orientation that you are a human being and you have to live in this world, and you are trying to have influence on various attributes, and you are influenced also. Just imagine if the groundwater has gone down, will not you have an impact? And if the groundwater has gone down, you have made an impact. So both of these are causative relationships, and we have to see this when we take the full framework of geomorphology that you have to do very, very neatly along with the current affairs. So in my opinion, this is a subject, this is a theme, I would say, where you can have a direct gut feeling. And as I gave everything around you is happening. You just have to keep your eye open and just look to it where perhaps I can have my questions coming from. Geomorphology is a very important one. It has got a lot of theories, but you have to look towards to what is happening now and can a question come or not. First part. Let's move to the second theme. Climatology. Just imagine, climatology is such an important theme because the world that we are living in, every day we hear about some change of climate, some urban climate things, and the climate and the human being interaction that is happening. So climatology we might have read, but what about the application part? If I understand that the cyclones have hit some part, that has already, maybe it has raised some part, it has come on, it has taken some control over some part, cannot a question upon how these are intensified, what IPCC report says, what other reports would say on these, cannot it come? If an earthquake has already happened, just imagine, recently we had a news about that the area of Jaipur and NCR felt some tremors, and if already they are feeling some tremor, cannot be there a question about that what is your intensity and how does it differ from magnitude? Cannot be such a question. So in essence, what I'm talking about is that if you are reading your climate, try to understand also that what is the impact of climate on your urbanization, on your urban location, and how it is having an impact. This year itself, when we had the mains paper coming in, one thing was for sure, that they are trying to ask you questions that have a connection. So they would ask you that something is situated here, how can it impact this? If something is happening here, how can it impact this? And that we call in your climatology as teleconnection. We call this as teleconnection. That some event occurring at some distance, thousands of kilometers apart, how that thing is trying to impact your climate. This is teleconnection that is happening. Third part, if I have to keep care of my oceanography thing, and that is for sure that this oceanography thing is going to have about lot of practical things also. For example, we will have the relief, we will have the sort of currents, we will have the bathymetry. And if I am reading all these, if I'm studying all this, I just have to understand where it would be related to. You just have to find out, do you have a human or anthropogenic connection or not? Do you have any anthropogenic connection or not? And if you have, that is going to help you write an answer. The IPCC report was saying that you have your global warming taking place. The ice at the Arctic is already melting and the water is added. Now, if you have done your oceanography, you also know that there is some thermohaline circulation that is going on. Will this thermohaline circulation be enforced, reinforced, or will it come weak? You have to think on these lines. Will your current system, the oceanic current system on the surface, will it be reinforced or not? This you have to think about. So the exam is no more about only the theories that you do. It's no more only about the theories that you do. It's now about how do you relate a theory with some other thing that is happening. And once you start doing that, the answers, the questions, everything is there in your head. Let's move on to a very important segment, and that is called as biogeography. This biogeography is so important a concept that you can understand all your living entities. The biotic plus their interaction with the abiotic has brought about a lot of things on this earth. You talk about soil, you talk about profiling the soil, you talk about erosion. Now the question does not only speak about what are the different categories of soil. They speak about how every category of soil is being impacted by you and how they are causing an impact on you. So in essence, what I'm talking about is every such theme has an interconnection with only one element that I can see, and that is your human part. And that you can only understand when you have been maybe having a lot of current affairs with you, that if this question has come, it must have some binding upon some current affairs that it has happened. I must tell you a fact here. Suppose I'm taking biogeography and I must tell you there is suppose soil, maybe convention upon soil that has taken place, and suppose we have to protect the soil somewhere. A new scheme has come by, a new theme has come by where we have to protect the soil. Cannot you expect a question that this year maybe the soil becomes important? You will have to open up your horizon of thinking that any such question when it is coming, it is built upon your static part, but it has a relation with your current affairs. So that is a gut feeling that I'm talking about. This geography has an added advantage that if you have a gut feeling in you, maybe that this question can come this year because it has been so much in news, you are going to get the points. Let's move on. Now, this ever brightening topic of environmental geography that has got all such concepts within it, that has got everyday routine work in it, that has got every sort of relationship between human and your interactions with your geography or the environment. If this is such an important topic, I think a question, and just look at the trend. they are changing every question with the environmental perspective, and it looks like that it's such a simple question, but it is not, because you have to imbibe your theoretical part in it. It cannot be a general studies question. It has to be optional, and you have to write down some sort of theories, some sort of maybe ideas of some people in it. Then only you can talk about environmental geography. So you will have to be different from others. But the gut feeling is that a question on this can come, and it will come. Already last 7 years, just pick up the paper and see how environmental geography is being imbibed, being implemented, and you can understand it well. Now let's talk about a very important segment, and that is what I often say is the perspectives in human geography. Now, in full geography optional paper, if I would just try to tell you a hint, if you are so well prepared with your human geography, your 60% of the fear is already gone. And in here also, you have some instincts, you have some sort of gut feeling. Over the years, it has been seen that they are trying to pick up those theories that have maybe completed sort of a sort of 50 years or so, or maybe there is a paradigm, talk about them again. So if it is still coming into existence, you see a lot of conferences and conclaves that keep on happening. If a conference is talking about a sort of theory that was already a paradigm of some time past, a question can come this year. When you read the perspectives in human geography, you talk about that how your perhaps this geographical thought has evolved, and as it is evolving by, you can understand a lot of paradigm change is going to come, and which paradigm change is important, which is relevant today. This all you can talk about just if you have this idea of current affairs into your human geography. So my only request from all of you is try to have a gut feeling, and this gut feeling can relate to what is there in the current affairs. And you are keeping a tap of around 2 to 3 years, and you don't have to go much. I'll tell you the magazine, when I tell you the sources in the next session, I'll let you know what are the magazines that you can pick up, which will give you around 2 to 3 years of things happening, and then you can look for it. Now, please understand, having done all this and ventured into the human geography, just imagine if there is a question about model theories and laws in human geography. Now, this cannot be much predicted. This cannot be much predicted because the models and the theories are somewhat already given. Now, what you have to have a gut feeling is that if something is happening in my world today, how can I use it as a case study in the examination and write it down? Suppose some agricultural pattern is coming up, suppose some industrial location is coming up, I can just have a framework, and then I can try to imbibe these theories along with it. So model theories, I cannot say that it can be predicted much because it depends upon the paper settee that how he or she wants to ask the question to. But your duty is now to just pick up case studies from the relevant, maybe I would say scenario, from the current scenario, and just put it in front of him. And this person who evaluates your paper, no, he or she would be really influenced by you. That you are even using something apart from the conventional books. You are someone who belongs to geography. And he or she will give you extra marks for this. Extra marks in the sense, if he or she was willing to give you 5 or 6, he or he would now increase it to around 1 or 2. Now, please understand the second thing. Economic geography also revolves around a gut feeling. If you are understanding that lot of suppose resource thing is going upon, and you can understand already the news about Russia and Ukraine, that is so much today happening, and it's all about resource. Majorly, I'll say it's about resource. Then comes your this monopoly thing that you are to maintain something, but the resource thing becomes so successful here, and you have to do this very carefully now. And in economic geography, you have to talk about maybe again the theories, maybe again the ideas that would come by, maybe again sort of things that would come by, but energy, resource, it is going to become very important for this year examination. So this is a gut feeling that you can have any day perhaps, but you will have to keep care of or take care of how the current affairs are being done. Then let's talk about population and settlement geography. The population and settlement geography, and again see, if suppose on a world pattern, on a global pattern, if on the global pattern you have the people talking about migration, if on the global pattern, if you have a lot of talks about that the population sort of is increasing in this manner, these areas are going to have problem, and if you have any such convention taking place from last 2 years, for example, just imagine UN urban habitat convention that happens, what this is all about, population and settlement. how are you having the population being managed, and how are you seeing the settlements coming up. This becomes very relevant and important if you have the framework of current affairs going on for last 2-3 years, and if you have the static portion with you. So if the questions are coming on theories, you can easily write it. But if you have some case studies, some relevant case studies with you, just imagine the migration from Syria. Just imagine the migration waves have been there that you study in a framework, but these are the old ones. If for today, if you talk about, there are migration things that are happening, just imagine now what would be the condition of the areas around Black Sea. Will not migration take place there? The whole eastern Ukraine is going to come towards the western part and maybe even spreading into the Europe. What is this all about? This is about migration, but if you have this case study with you, you are going to get such good marks. But the problem is, no, we are bound by a framework only. We are bound by what we are given. If you just have a gut feeling that, sir, I can use this, this has been happening, come on, please take this from me. You are going to have some extra marks in this. People have been reading your answers maybe since ages now. Not your means, I would say geography optional papers since ages. And they have been seeing the same case study, the same thing again and again. If you, through your gut feeling, if you can understand that this I can use here, this sort of question can come and I'm prepared for this, again some extra marks to you. And now comes an important segment about regional planning. And this regional planning has been so much in vogue. For example, if you understand what are the concept of regions, you see, again, we cannot predict what question can come. But again, you can be prepared with some case studies with you that where a regional development model has been successful, and there are some regional development models that I'll give you. We will give you a lot of models. But the problem is, are these the only ones? Are these the only ones that you have to take care about? Perhaps no. You have to understand that there is a framework in which you have developed a planning. Not one size fit all approach will work, and you have a regional planning for here, you have a regional planning for here, and hence the name of regional planning has come by. If you have a case study, I think you can really be writing good answer in regional planning also. Apart from whatever may be your definitions, whatever nodes, regions, whatever definitions that you have, you will be writing that, but the case studies are going to help you a lot. So my only intention to have this gut feeling session is, which I'll wrap up after this sort of discussion, as you enter into paper 2 of your geography optional, you are entering into the world of dynamism. Here the questions are here. I hope it is audible. Yeah. So whatever paper that you are entering now, geography of India, and whatever topics you pick up, this is the dynamism that will come up. This is the dynamism that will come up. For example, just imagine a question this year came that the Himalayas are already there. How this Himalayan having the upper reaches can be interrelated with the lower reaches. Just imagine. That has to mean that you have to keep care of whatever interrelationship between one sort of topography, one sort of feature relief is there with other relief, or with the relief downways or the down basin. If a river is flowing from here, the upper catchment area versus the lower catchment area, what could be the difference? How can this control this? And cannot you imagine this question, if it is asked, cannot you imagine the talks on Brahmaputra as a river, and when China says that we are going to make dams here, we are trying to control the river here. And why only China? If today we talk about making a dam somewhere, the states that are in the lower riparian region, they are worried, because everything has some interrelation, and the upper reaches of it is going to have a relation with the lower reaches, and that could be a problem. So either we have to maintain this balance well, we have to look and respect this interrelationship, or maybe this all can cause the chaos. Okay, let's move on to geography of India's more dynamism. Just understand the resource part. Just understand the dynamism in your environmental part. Just understand the dynamism of your transportation. Just understand the dynamism of your urbanization. So here, basically, you will see the people who are scoring good marks here, they have done their paper 1 so well, they know the theories, and now they just want to apply this into your beautiful country. If they have done the urbanization process somewhere, they don't have to write urbanization as such here. They want to talk about urbanization with the lens of India. They want to talk about transportation with the lens of India. They want to talk about industrial location with the lens of India. But the basic of it, the theory is resting upon, I must say, this all is resting upon the basic of your theories. If the theories are not there, suppose if you are not using Weber, if you are not using Christoller, what about geography of India then? You have to apply them into the Indian scheme of things, and then you can analyze that it is going to be successful or not. Is it going to be beneficial or not? And if it is, a good point for that. And if no, what can be the way forward? So any such topic when you take from now onwards, and if you are already taking geography as an optional, I must tell you, this is the subject that has got an added advantage of gut feeling. This has an advantage of gut feeling, and I must tell you, if you are keeping tab on the current affairs of not much, I would say, of not much, only if suppose of 2 to 3 years, and that would not be many, that would not be much. If you keep tab of these things, you are going to devise what can come, what can come, what has the possibility to come. And if you already can understand what can come, you can prepare yourself with the theories plus the application part of it. And once you are prepared with the theory and the application part of it, that is required. They don't expect that you write down only theoretical part. They expect that you know the theory and you can show them how to apply this. You see, understand, they are geographers. They are so emotional with geography. And if you show them some case studies, if you show them some live examples, they are going to be very happy about it. So that would be my request. You can take up this optional and you can have a gut feeling about it. The gut feeling helps you keep tab of what can come. If it is coming, well and good. If it is not coming, we are already preparing our static and current affairs well. This is the subject that is going to have you the current affairs integration, or allow you a current affairs integration. And when it so allows, you are going to be so much having confidence in the examination. I must tell you an example. Suppose Venezuela is so much in news. Imagine Venezuela is so much in news. Imagine. You can expect a question coming on your oil, coming on your energy. If just imagine some nuclear reactor or some nuclear energy is in news so much, you are going to have a question that year or maybe the ensuing year about the energy resources. So everything of paper 1 binded with some sort of current affairs and applied to your paper 2 can help you get 160, 170 marks. But paper 1 would be a challenge. For scoring in paper 1, you will have to develop some current case studies. Then only you can prove yourself different from others. Imagine the Paris and the French desert, everyone is writing, but it is not the only example. It is not the only example of the forces of integration. There are some other examples also. Who would give them? And suppose you write down that besides French and the Paris desert, you have this example, additional marks to you. You are already a step ahead than everyone. So my only request from now onwards is, if you are taking up geography optional, and it's a beautiful optional, I must tell you, evergreen subject, and if you have this subject with you, you will have to have or keep tab of the current affairs also. As they come, you just write it down somewhere. I'll tell you the strategy of how to do all this. I'll let you know about how to do this. I'll also let you know about the sources that we have to use. I'll let you know every of these. But you just have to keep care of or take care of how are you going to maintain the scheme of things different from others. And this geography allows you a gut feeling. And with that, I think I'll end up this session. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment also. And you can ask me via Telegram also. In the evening, we have these special classes running up. You can join me there. Plus, already we are having the geography course, and you can enroll into any course, maybe any course using my code of CMC. And for optional, if you take any such subscription, it is 2292 per month. You apply my code of CMC, you get in 2063 per month. And the score booster test series is running by 15 questions, 15 minutes, and you will have to come by at 10 a.m. and you apply these or maybe sit for these questions. And a comprehensive coverage of some important topics are already there going on. Mega test series is already going on. The Hindu happens on Wednesday and CSAT happens on Saturday. See the time, 10:30 is the Hindu and 4 p.m. is CSAT. And the batches we have already announced. The last one started yesterday, and again we are every week we start with the batch. So for prelims this year we already started. For optional, if you want to look towards to, you can have my number. I have already given it at the start. Just inquire for it and let's start this well. So that would be all from my side. Thank you so much for listening this out, and I hope you are keeping in touch with this geography optional. A very interesting one, one that is going to have you a gut feeling about a lot of things. So a very interesting one. So let's crack this examination with all such positive energy. Thank you so much. Take care. Jai Hind.